On Earth 828 in 1964, Reed Richards keeps searching for answers, yet every test leads him nowhere. He spends endless nights buried in calculations, but the silence of failure never leaves him. However, his wife Sue Storm sees more than his frustration. When she steps out of the bathroom, she holds a positive pregnancy test in her hand. At last, after 2 long years of trying, Reed and Sue are finally expecting a child. Meanwhile, television host Ted Gilbert broadcasts a program that celebrates the Fantastic Four's 4th anniversary. The broadcast recalls how Reed Richards, his best friend Ben Grimm, his wife Sue Storm, and her younger brother Johnny Storm gained their powers. During a daring mission in space, cosmic radiation changed their DNA forever. Reed discovered he could stretch, Sue learned to bend light and energy, Johnny took control of fire, and Ben transformed into a rock-skinned powerhouse. From their headquarters in the Baxter Building, the team fought enemies such as Giganto, Mole Man, the Mad Thinker, and even the Red Ghost with his super apes.
With superpowers, they became...
After the event, the heroes return home for a family dinner. Their loyal robot assistant prepares the table, while Sue and Reed arrive late. Finally, Sue shares her news. Instantly, joy fills the room. Johnny and Ben cheer the loudest, promising to stand by her side no matter what. Across the city, news channels spread the story, and people celebrate the coming child of Marvel's first family. Soon, preparations begin in earnest. The group reorganizes their living space, studies parenting books, and adjusts to the idea of a baby in the Baxter Building. Suddenly, Johnny storms in, bursting with excitement, waving sketches for flashy new suits. Before Reed can even respond, the power shuts down. Darkness swallows the room until Johnny lights the way with flames. During the chaos, Sue notices Reed instructing their robot to build a crib, yet she quickly realizes he is also assembling a machine. In his mind, science can secure their child's future. The device, however, is meant to scan the baby for mutations. Reed explains it with pride, believing he is protecting them. Yet Sue answers with calm patience. Instead of technology, she uses her powers to create a glowing image of the baby, reminding him that not everything needs equations. Later, Reed reveals the finished crib, proud of his effort. For a brief moment, peace rests over them. However, the sky tears open without warning, and something massive falls through the atmosphere.
Owned by the Devourer.
What's your end?
Galactus.
Shalabal lands on Earth with force strong enough to shake the ground. She warns the Fantastic Four that the planet is doomed because Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, is coming. She tells them to accept the inevitable, spend their final moments with loved ones, and confess hidden truths. Yet Johnny refuses to bow. He flames on and attacks her, but she barely notices. With one strike, she sends him crashing to the ground. Afterward, the shaken group regroups at the Baxter Building. There, they trace her past visits and discover that every world she marked has already been destroyed. Johnny, however, cannot forget the strange proverb she whispered when she hit him. That night, exhaustion pushes him to dig through old archives. Eventually, he finds recordings where the same ancient language appears again and again. Although he cannot fully translate it, he begins to understand. At the same time, Reed unveils new uniforms for the team. Each suit carries stronger fabric, life support systems, and upgrades for space combat. These are not costumes anymore, but armor designed to keep them alive. When the public sees them at a grand event, Reed speaks with conviction. He reminds the world that 4 years ago they were only explorers. However, exploration came with a price. Now they prepare to return to space, not as dreamers, but as protectors of Earth. With hearts steady, they wave to the cheering crowd and board their ship. The engines roar, and Earth quickly shrinks behind them. For hours they search the stars, until finally they detect a massive surge of energy. It leads them to a planet larger than Earth, which tears itself apart in front of their eyes. The sight fills them with dread. Sue turns invisible and scouts ahead, yet Galactus senses her instantly. His awareness touches not only the group, but also the unborn child inside her. Suddenly, Shalabal appears again. She admits she is the one who marks planets for Galactus to consume. When Johnny demands an explanation for the proverb, she finally answers. In her language, it is a grim blessing. Die on your own. At last, the Fantastic Four stands before Galactus. To their surprise, he does not strike. His voice thunders like the universe itself. He reveals that long ago, he too was human, fragile and small. Over millions of years, hunger consumed him and transformed him into what he is now. He tells them he knows why they have come. They wish to save Earth. However, he has no interest in the planet itself. What he wants is Sue Storm's unborn child, who carries an ancient cosmic power beyond human reach. Galactus declares that the Chronicles of the Stars already speak of Franklin Richards. He is destined as an Omega-level being, a future reality bender with godlike strength. According to Galactus, the child must inherit his eternal hunger. If the Fantastic Four hand him over, Earth will be spared. Yet the threat deepens when Galactus triggers Sue Storm's labor. Her water breaks as pain rips through her body, while his voice shakes the cosmos. He promises to consume Earth slowly, forcing the newborn to watch its destruction. As panic spreads through the team, they try to flee. However, Shalla-Bal blocks their path, and a brutal battle begins. Together, the Fantastic Four fight with everything they have. They finally manage to push her back, but only for a moment. Using the opportunity, they rush to their ship and blast off. Still, Shalla-Bal refuses to relent. She pursues them through space, matching even their jump into light speed. She is determined to seize the child. Johnny Storm rushes out to stop her, but his fire weakens. Instead of fighting, he finds himself drawn to her. Something about Shalla-Bal pulls at him, trapping his will. His flames sputter out in the endless void. Desperation forces the group to take a reckless gamble. They cut power to the speed field, which drops them into chronospace, a chaotic realm where time and matter collapse into nothing. The ship shudders as Sue Storm cries out, too weak to continue. Reed Richards holds her close, whispering words of comfort, guiding her through the storm. Then, within the violent swirl of chronospace, their child enters the world. Franklin Richards is born, fragile in appearance yet already carrying a destiny strong enough to shake the universe. Peace lasts only briefly. On Earth, panic consumes the streets as the news spreads. Crowds demand the Fantastic Four surrender the child. Protesters shout for sacrifice, claiming one life must be traded for billions. The noise grows louder, the weight heavier. Inside the Baxter building, Sue Storm feels her faith falter. Reed swears that nothing could make him surrender their child, yet his words reveal his constant preparation for disaster. Sue hears his logic as a wound, not protection. She tells him that even his good intentions cut her deeply. Shocked, Reed has no reply, and Sue walks away with heavy steps, torn between the world outside and the family within. The city trembles with tension until Sue finally steps out, Franklin resting in her arms. Her presence silences the crowd in an instant. She does not come to plead or to promise. She speaks a truth instead. Her child is not a weapon, not a bargaining chip, not the property of a fearful world. He is her son, and if humanity dares to demand him, it will learn what a united family is prepared to do. Sue refuses to sacrifice Franklin to save the planet, yet she also refuses to abandon the planet to protect him. On that day, she does not rely on invisibility or shields. Her will becomes her shield. Her love becomes her strength. For a long moment, the silence holds. Then, against all expectation, the crowd erupts in applause. The people choose faith over fear. At that moment, Reed steps forward with the final plan. Earth must be relocated, hidden in a corner of the universe beyond Galactus's reach. He reveals the teleportation bridge, a device capable of pushing the planet across dimensions. To fuel it, every resource must be gathered. Humanity itself must sacrifice energy, consumption, and comfort to power survival. Meanwhile, Johnny Storm cracks the code of Shalla-Bal's proverb at last. With new clarity, he deciphers fragments from intercepted transmissions. He reveals her origin to the team. Once, she was a scientist on Zenlaw, a world chosen by Galactus. In desperation, she offered loyalty to save her family. Her people survived, and the transmissions were not warnings, but messages of gratitude, the thanks of the only planet Galactus ever spared. Since then, she marked countless worlds, including Earth. Racked with guilt, Shalla-Bal falters. Johnny presses, telling her that she only wanted to save her world, the same way he now fights to save his. He reaches for her humanity, yet she resists. She demands the child, declaring that if Franklin were older, he would willingly sacrifice himself, just as she once wished to. Then she delivers her final verdict. The child must live, even if it means the entire planet must perish. At first, the group refuses. They cannot imagine putting Franklin into the center of the fight. However, reality soon strikes. With no other choice left, they agree to move forward. To prepare, they summon Harvey Elder, the Mole Man, master of tunnels and king of the underground. He commands the evacuation and guides thousands of people into shelters far below the city. While he leads the people underground, the surface becomes the final battlefield. The Fantastic Four place Franklin at the center of the zone. Silence spreads across the streets until every sound vanishes. Then Galactus arrives. He descends from his massive ship and the air trembles. Space bends as his feet strike the ground and the world feels like it is ending. Right away, the Fantastic Four charge. They attack from every side and try to drive him into the dimensional trap. For a brief moment, it looks as if the plan works. Their attacks connect and their teamwork flows. Yet the hope fades quickly. Galactus is not a villain. He is not even a man. He is a force of nature. Blades fail to cut him. Light fails to blind him. No power can slow him. For one heartbeat, the trap holds. Then Galactus rises to his true height. His voice thunders like a storm. He calls them worms and focuses on Franklin. At once, he pierces every defense and finds the child. His steps shake the city as he moves forward. Ben Grimm blocks his path, yet Galactus throws him aside with ease. Johnny Storm rushes in and catches Ben before the crash can kill him. Reed Richards stretches his body and tries to bind Galactus, but the giant rips him free. Nothing stops him. Finally, Galactus seizes Franklin. His massive hand cradles the infant and he declares the child is his release. Yet one power remains. Sue Storm unleashes her fury. She calls on strength deeper than anything she has ever touched.
Put down my son!
Invisible waves burst outward and strike Galactus again and again. Her wrath is unrelenting. Her love sharpens every blow. Step by step, she forces him toward the trap. At last, Johnny sees the opening. He slams the trigger and light erupts across the battlefield. Energy wraps Galactus and pulls him to the edge of reality. Reed dives forward and rescues Franklin before the rift consumes him. The baby is safe while Sue collapses from exhaustion. For one moment, relief spreads, yet the ground shakes again. Galactus claws his way back. Space tears apart as he forces his return. The group prepares for the end. Johnny steps forward with fire in his eyes. He is ready to sacrifice himself and seal the rift. However, Shalabal appears. Her face carries guilt and sorrow. She pushes Johnny aside and takes his place. In her final act, she leaps into the rift and drags Galactus down with her. Both vanish into the abyss and the rift seals shut. The silence confirms the battle is over. The Fantastic Four rush to Sue. Reed holds her as her strength fades, yet Franklin stirs. The newborn glows with a spark of power and restores his mother's life. The city erupts in celebration. Humanity is saved. People weep with relief and one citizen offers a tiny blue suit with the number 5. Reed and Sue smile, yet they decline, saying it is too soon. Before the moment can last, an urgent alert arrives. Without hesitation, the team answers the call and vanishes into duty. 4 years later, Sue sits at home with Franklin on her lap. She reads softly while he listens. Peace fills the room until she stands and reaches for another book. When she returns, she freezes. Franklin is not alone. A man in a green cloak stands near him. He lifts a metal mask and places it on his face. Sue recognizes him instantly. Dr. Doom has come for his son.